let's now bring in JK himself, Jacob Kioria, to give us a feel, sights and sounds of what's happening on the ground. Jacob, good morning. It's a very cold morning. I guess you are in Nyeri. What is happening down there?
You're right, Victor. We are in Nyeri, Mathira sub-county, or Mathira constituency for that matter. This is where the state lodge is. It's not really cold. It's cold a bit, obviously, because of the morning chill, but it is not as cold as you would say. And from, obviously, when you look at the picture behind me, these are the numbers of people who continue trooping in into the state lodge ahead of a meeting, the Sagana 3 meeting that will be chaired by President Uhuru Kenyatta. And just a bit about, the feel around here is that traffic snakes up from the gate from the state lodge all the way 3 kilometers. That is 3 kilometers of traffic. And I think at some point some people are blocked, so you would have to walk in to the state lodge. So generally this is the feel this morning as you go towards the state lodge, Victor.
What do you think is in the plate for the president?
There's a lot in plate for the president.
There's a lot in plate for the president. I pointed out yesterday that about 4 years ago, the president, while in Sagana meeting Mount Kenya leaders and then snaked through Karatina and opened the Karatina market, the president was very specific. He said, that's 4 years ago, the president said, my choice for president, my choice for 2022 will shock a lot of people. And I think today, the shocker is coming down. It's when the president explains to his people why he thinks Azimio is the way to go. Is the day he explains to his people what he has done the last 5 years or the last 10 years, and then he'll be able to elucidate what he thinks should be achieved and what the next administration should achieve, and why he thinks bequeathing Raila Odinga the position of presidency, or bequeathing him the baton, is what is good for the republic. So generally today it will be about explaining himself to the people, explaining the handshake more like he has done in the several Sagana meetings he has held, but most importantly explaining the decision to probably hand over the baton to Raila Odinga as opposed to his deputy William Ruto. Remember, about 3 weeks ago there was, headlines, and the president is going to spill the beans. Probably today, the beans will be spilled.
Is here. It says that why Sagana 3 is critical for Uhuru. That is on the People Daily. Why is Sagana 3 critical for President Uhuru?
Sagana 3 is significant in so many ways. This is probably the last meeting the president will hold in Sagana State Lodge as president of the Republic of Kenya. Secondly, he's speaking to his people, because this meeting, the invitees are only from the Mount Kenya region. There's the bastion of support for the president. So he's simply saying, I know I told you this and this in the last elections, but I'm simply telling you, we have changed course. It is very significant, because this is what could deal a blow to other presidential hopefuls, or what you would call even people who have presidential ambitions in this central region, because he will simply be saying, I'm handing over, if I were to hand the baton, because the president said, I don't have the right, I don't have to influence anybody. I'm not saying this is the way, I'm not forcing anybody to take the direction I'm taking, but I'm simply saying, and it is in my personal right as president, it is in my personal right as a voter, that this is the way I would want to go, and therefore anybody who cares to listen to him, this is the way he would want to go. And obviously then, after the Sagana meeting, this Sagana 3 meeting, it would be interesting to see what are the fortunes for Raila Odinga in the Mount Kenya region, what are the fortunes for William Ruto in the Mount Kenya region. And therefore, this meeting for the president is quite significant. Again, knowing that it is coming just about a day before the National Delegates Conference of the Jubilee Party. And the Jubilee Party is supposed to ratify, first of all, the Jubilee Party colors, some of the decisions in terms of how they will compete with their colleagues in the Azimio la Umoja. But most importantly, the NDC will also endorse Raila Odinga as president. So this is quite a significant meeting, Victor, if you would argue so. First of all, for the Mount Kenya region, and most importantly, again, for President Uhuru Kenyatta and the course of politics in the coming years.
We've seen the president retreating to local dialect whenever he's meeting the people down there. And most likely is going to do that again. What is the significance of that?
They say in English, if you want to speak to a person, you speak to them using a language. But if you want to speak to their hearts, you speak with the language they understand most. And I think that's the mantra for the president. It's okay to speak in English. It's okay to speak in Swahili. But I think so that he, connects one-on-one with his audience today, who are the voters in Mount Kenya region, who are the people who have supported him for the last 10 years, the president most likely will resort to speaking in Kikuyu so he can connect with the people. That is why I think, again, exclusively the meeting is about, is for the people in the Mount Kenya region. And that is why probably he will resort to speaking in Kikuyu so that they understand him and probably even get it in a deeper sense and a deeper understanding of what his issues today are as regards the Sagana 3 meeting, Victor.
And Jacob, finally, why Nyeri in particular? Why Nyeri?
Why Nyeri? There's not so much significance in terms of Nyeri hosting the meeting, because I think in the Mount Kenya region, the only state lodge in the Mount Kenya region is the Sagana State Lodge, which is in Nyeri. So if you were to go by significance, there's not so much significance in the meeting coming to Nyeri. Only that the state lodge is in Nyeri. And most of the times when the president has done his meetings, he does them from the state lodge in Nyeri. But you also discover the president has some good passion for the state lodge in Nyeri. Whenever he wants to have a rest, whenever he wants to reflect, and most of the times he has come to Sagana. Admittedly, he has said himself how he loves the state lodge in Sagana. The ambience is good. So there's the love for Sagana, but there's nothing very strategic about the meeting happening in Nyeri or the significance of, the meeting being in Nyeri. Although you'll appreciate, Victor, the home of most freedom fighters, when you talk about the Mau Mau War, most of the freedom fighters actually came from Nyeri. We're talking about Dedan Kimathi, Waruhui Tote, we would call General China. This is the home of the Mau Mau fighters. So if you are looking at significance in that sense, well, that could be it.
Dr. Rotich, who said that it's going to be a hard nut to crack for the president to undo what the deputy president has done in the mountain over the years. What do you make of that?
This is the time for the president to put his record on the table. Remember, he's been in power for the last 10 years as president of the Republic of Kenya, as the political kingpin of this region. So it's time for him to put his record on the table. And if you've seen billboards, around the roads, the reinvigoration of a Jubilee Party, the president is saying, tuliahidi, tumetimiza. That simply is what he will be doing here, trying to elucidate his record. This is what I promised you. This is what I have delivered. This is what I promised you. I have not delivered. Why haven't I delivered on it? And this will be the president explaining himself. So again today, it could be a meeting of a president elucidating his track record for the last 10 years and about his promise to the mountain region. So Rotich is correct. The president will be talking about his track record too. But the most important thing is the significance of this meeting is more political than it is about legacy.
Give us the itinerary. What's the program like, and what time do you expect the president to arrive there at the State Lodge?
Well, Victor, it's very difficult to predict the president in terms of when he arrives, because as a president of the Republic of Kenya, this is not the only program in his itinerary. But we expect probably from 11 or 10, the president will be in Sagana, and then the meeting will kick off. And it goes all the way up until evening as he speaks to the people. But you can see the numbers of people who continue trickling in to Sagana for this very significant meeting. And the numbers are in their thousands. Youth, the old, and from all sectors invited, because they're opinion shapers in their own way. And they started trickling in here as early as 6 a.m. And I think if you were to go inside the lodge, I think it's already full to the brim. As I've told you, in terms of traffic, I think traffic snakes up from the gate all the way 3 kilometers from the gate, as you head towards Karatina, from the State Lodge gate, 3 kilometers of traffic. Not a joke. So it's quite interesting, the numbers of people who continue trickling in to listen to the president. Obviously, it's invite only. Yesterday, as I was speaking to some residents in Karatina, some of them were saying, We have not gotten the invites to go to the state lodge, but we will try and make our way into the lodge, and we want the president to give us audience. I don't know whether that will happen, because this is an invite-only event, and you can imagine Mount Kenya has more than 10 counties, so I don't think it's easy for everybody to fit in there, so they had to selectively pick a few people who will fit in the lodge.
Modo, all right, coming to, we'll come back to you later on, and perhaps give us a feel if you'll also find your way in, if you're not invited. That's the interesting one. All right.
I'm not invited.
Are you invited?
I'm not invited.
Okay, all right. JK there, live from Nyeri State Lodge. We'll be getting back to him later on to give us an update on what's happening there. Of course, he's given us an account of what you should expect from Nyeri State Lodge. And even from the pictures there, people are trooping in and said that they started doing that as early as 6 a.m. and the president will be addressing members of the public from Nyeri State Lodge.